Good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly, and today we have a segment that I hope you'll find interesting. It's relates to a major overhaul, modification, revision, whatever you might want to call it, of Memorial Park. What we're going to talk about is a continuation of something that we have been working on now just shy of 2 years, when we rolled out the 4-point plan and made a commitment to do something of an upgrade. And there's all sorts of terms out there with different understandings and beliefs, that sort of thing, but major upgrades to the sports facilities in this city. And joining me this morning is Kathy Chambless. Has been on this project from day one. And Kathy, I want us to talk a little bit about this. I was looking back at my notes, and I believe the council approved the 4-point plan probably in July of 2022. I think that's
so.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So inside of 2 years.
Right.
That
It sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
Right. We've been on a meandering path since that time. Nobody being derelict in their duties, doing everything that we could to find a piece of property, that hoped to use a piece of property owned by the city. Both of those efforts hit roadblocks. Those sort of things take time. If you've ever been in the real estate business, large tract acquisitions, that sort of thing, all takes time, does it not?
Yes, sir.
You have to engage professional folks, engineering firm, architect, Alabama Department of Transportation. So determine that the likelihood of finding a satisfactory piece of property, given that Jasper is not very pretty topographically, that maybe we should upgrade what we have. Those recommendations came to us from a number of people that are highly regarded in youth sports in this city, been around it for a long time, and our council began to listen to those recommendations. And so at the council meeting on Tuesday, the council agreed to move forward with what we'll call phase one. And the information we want to share with you today, we want to be very specific. We don't want to make any claims that we can't live up to, whatever, but they approved us moving forward to have the bid package prepared and present to general contractors to do phase one. Now, Kathy, is that a pretty fair summary of where we've been and what we've done?
Yes, sir. You know, at the work session, the council did give us a green light to proceed forward. Now, what we will do at the next council meeting is we'll ask the council permission to send out a bid package for the preparation or the bid for improvements at the Memorial Park fields.
Right.
Lighting, fields, drainage, restrooms, and concession stand. And we'll also ask the council to approve a contract for the engineer that's going to prepare those bids. So that'll be the step one to get us on the road of getting bids out and getting bids back in so we can see where we stand.
Kathy, like I said, you've been involved in this from day one. Can you kind of give a general overview of what Memorial Park is, what it is today, what we're going to see when this is finished in phase one?
Yes, sir. So we have a general overview of improvements for Memorial Park. that doesn't just involve the softball fields and baseball fields. The plan would include building a new gym.
Yeah.
And also improvements as it would relate to soccer fields. And that's a part of a big discussion. Where do you put a gym at Memorial Park? And then what do you do about the soccer fields? And maybe there's other improvements that we'll make at Memorial Park. We've heard discussion about sand volleyball. Can we add that somewhere within the park? How do we improve the parking? Do we put additional restroom facilities? So, you know, all those things have yet to be finalized, but we think we can start with the fields, get 5 fields out for bid. We're going to bid them, you know, a lot of discussion about, well, are they going to be artificial turf or not? Well, that's something that I don't think we can answer yet because we don't know the cost of doing 5 fields with turf. Can we do some of them turf and some not? So what we will do is send a bid out. The engineer will prepare that bid where he'll bid it. Maybe he'll start with all turf fields, all 5 of them. And then a alternate bid of no turf. And then partial turf field, 2 or 3 being turf. So that we can have the information we need to make a good decision as it relates to cost and trying to get the best fields we can get for the money that we have to do those fields.
Now, Kathy, there's some discussion about regulation, and I heard this long before I came to office. It was something about the natatorium was not long enough to do certain things or whatever. And then the question that arose a few weeks ago, will the length of these fields allow different leagues, I guess I'd say, to play there? What we know today, confirmed by the folks that are doing the engineering work, confirmed by our council member, Mr. Willie Moore, who is heavily involved with Alabama High School Athletic Association, whatever, that though the length of those fields will qualify for anything that, any type softball or whatever that would be played there.
I think we got that confirmation yesterday. We also had members of the Park and Rec here at our meeting, and they were in agreement that 290, length of 290 feet would be sufficient with a fence that come out enough to have 300 feet would be sufficient for the activities that are expected to happen on those fields. So I think we've reached that, and we needed to know that because the parking and things around those fields would be affected by how long we can make those fields. So
now, Kathy, when we looked at the initial plans, whatever, what we were able to see is probably 300 plus parking spaces in the general area, didn't we? You know that.
yes, sir.
Some 300. That's a lot of parking spaces.
Yes, sir.
Now, Kathy, we know that if you were there today and walked up to the concession stand, the upper level of that is where the administrative folks, umpire and fish, that will be taken to higher where you have.
Well, you can see all 5 fields.
You can see.
That's what we would hope. Well, it'll have to be that way, and you know, we may add a story an additional floor to that area so that they can see all 5 fields while
Yeah.
they're.
Now, Kathy, there's a real interest in doing everything that we can to have some, if not all, the fields available for play in spring of 2025. We do not want our young folks to miss having a place to play. Now, lots of things impact that. General contractor, weather. It's our desire, and we're going to do everything we can, but we can't unconditionally guarantee that we'll have that ready. But everybody that has a hand at this point understands our desire to have that in place.
Yes, sir, and that's partly why you wanted to start with phase 1 so that we can get those fields ready for 2025 play.
Yeah. Now, we talk about phase 2, and we don't, excuse me, really have the conceptuals of that. We know that the desire is to have a multi-purpose gym, maybe.
Yes, sir.
That, where folks that can play volleyball, it can indoor pickleball, that sort of thing. How these things fit on the property, soccer field. There's some other discussion going on about that. Would there be a better location for the soccer fields? But we didn't feel that we should bog down the work on the field with trying to work through this other. We can get the field side of it going, and then we start work on the other once that has been concluded.
Yes, sir. You know, we haven't fully decided on the size of a gym. We'd love to have 3 courts in the gym, 3 basketball courts, with, you know, which you could use then for 6 volleyball courts. But we haven't gotten really we haven't come to a, first of all, we got to figure out where to put it.
Yeah.
And the best location for it, and then.
Kathy, let me say this. It's not a matter, do we have a place to put it? The
It's
question is
best.
where, you know. It's not like, well, we're like a fellow looking for water with a fork and stick. You know, we're,
Where can we put it in?
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
definitely, there's places to put it, it's just the best location for
Yeah.
it.
Right. Now, Kathy, let's talk about my favorite subject, finance. We rolled out the 4-point plan, went several months before the council approved that, and I'm not critiquing the council, but I said, I think it was approved in July, and then at that point in time, we had to sell the bonds, which took some more time. So, you know, to say we burned up 2 years, we haven't burned up 2 years,
Yes,
maybe a little over a year.
Yes, sir.
And so, the money that we raised for this, is it still intact?
Oh, yes, sir. We've got the 12 million for the, well, I think we spent maybe 40,000 of that, but that money's
Let's say we
there.
spent 40,000 in our quest to try to find a piece of property.
Yes, sir, it was.
Didn't just poof, throw it away. That
No,
was in
sir.
our quest to find a piece of property. Okay.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, we still have the 2 million that we had for contingency. We have spent some on the auditorium to be the new city hall, obviously, probably 4.5 million. And we have spent then, of course, some on the paving, which we had money allocated for that. Probably now a little over 2 million, or maybe 2.5 now.
Yeah.
But
So-
the rest is
12 to 14 million dollars. Now, Kathy, we raised this money with a bond issue, and I think I touched on this maybe a segment or 2 back. And the council imposed a 0.5% sales tax that would run for a period of 8 to 9 years,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And we did the math and said, if you do this, we can pay for all of this in the 8 to 9 years, whatever.
Yes, sir.
By the time that we begin to use these facilities, new city hall, whatever, we will be approaching the halfway point in the payment schedule. Now, I did not say the amortization, but of the total number of payments that we have to make, we'll be moving toward the midway point, will we
Yes,
not?
sir.
Now, this half-cent sales tax is generating adequate money to pay this debt back. It's paying it back.
Yes, sir.
Plus.
It generates more
Yeah.
than, you know, than the debt payment.
Now, that, from a financial perspective, it's a pretty sound way to handle things. Nobody's grandchildren will have to pay for this. The city's not going to be hamstrung with having to forego other components of municipal government because of this. It's covered.
It's covered. Yes,
And
sir.
we were talking with some folks a couple of weeks ago, and you look around the state, and some folks spend huge sums of money on athletic facilities, and they've committed heart and soul of their city, their business, none of ours. But if there was a downturn in the city operation, then an increase in tax revenues would be mandatory. Right? And I would never want our city to be arm behind your back, back against the wall financially because we made a decision. I can tell you, barring something catastrophic, the projects that we're doing here will never cause financial heartburn or harm to the city, will it?
No, sir.
That's rock solid. So that's where we're at. Again, phase 2 is premature to say exactly what that's going to look like. So I wouldn't want someone to say, well, you said you were going to do this. You know, and Kathy, we'll wrap it up on this. We've talked about this before. The only authority in municipal government to appropriate money is the city council.
That's it.
The mayor could not appropriate 1 penny. So the mayor's not striking out on his own program or whatever. The council has endorsed this wholeheartedly. The money flows to this. It will flow through the approval of the council.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So, we're pleased to have you with us. Let us hear from you. If you have questions, we want to answer them, but I talked to quite a few folks have talked to me about their approval of how this is moving along, the direction it's taking, and what it's going to mean to our city. And I think when it's all completed, everybody's going to be pleased about it. It was kind of like our new city hall. It's progressing. You know, we're just taking an old rundown building and putting a bunch of money in it and whatever. Well, it's drawing attention statewide already, and it's going to draw more attention, something that this city can be proud of far into the future. So that's where we're at. We work hard every day to be financially responsible, and we won't deviate from that, and hopefully to report to you that that this phase 1 of this project will conclude, will begin, not conclude, it won't conclude to 2025, but will begin in the next couple of months, and you can begin to see work taking place there. So again, thank you for being with us.